Let's do a deep dive about this structure today so that your Spanish will sound so natural that people will ask you where you are from. Ir a plus infinitive. What does infinitive mean? It means the base form of the verb, the endings ar, ir, just before you conjugate them. And when do we use this construction? We use it for plans for the future. We use it for intentions for the future. And we use it for predictions for the future. Remember that this construction means I am going to do something, or I am doing something in the future. Or somebody is going to do something, or somebody is doing something in the future. It is very important to conjugate the verb to go plus the preposition a plus the infinitive of the main verb, and to pronounce them all together to sound more natural. Let's practice the pronunciation of the verb to go first. Voy, vas, va, vamos. Here I included the conjugation for vosotros if you are learning Spanish from Spain. Vais, van. Remember that voy is I go, vas is you go, va is he, she, or you formal go, vamos is we go, vais is you guys go in Spain, van is they go or you guys go in Latin America. And remember that in Latin America, we don't really pronounce the V sound, not even the B sound. The B in Latin America is more relaxed. Voy, vas, va, vamos, vais, van. And in order to sound more natural, you need to learn how to pronounce the V in Latin America. So how do we pronounce these words together? Voy a is going to be voy a. Vas a is going to be vas a. Va a is going to be va. It is going to be like a long A. We don't say va a, we say va. The next one, vamos a, it's going to be vamos a. Vais a is going to be vais a. And van a is going to be vana. This preposition is fundamental, so you cannot forget to use it. The most important question that you should learn for this topic is ¿qué vas a hacer? ¿Qué vas a hacer? What are you doing or what are you going to do in the future? Now let's move forward and let's practice with very common regular verbs in full sentences. Voy a ir al cine. Voy a ir al cine. I'm going to the movies or I'm going to go to the movies. This is a very important verb. Ir. Ir. The next one. Vas a hacer una fiesta. Vas a hacer una fiesta. You're going to have a party. Or you're throwing a party. Or you're having a party. Hacer una fiesta. Throw a party. Let's continue. Va a descansar el domingo. Va a descansar el domingo. He or she is going to rest on Sunday. He or she is resting on Sunday. Descansar, to rest. Vamos a estudiar español. Vamos a estudiar español. We're going to study Spanish. We are studying Spanish in the future. Estudiar. Vamos a estudiar. The next one. In Spain. Vais a viajar a Colombia. Vais a viajar a Colombia. You're traveling to Colombia. You're going to travel to Colombia. Van a ver una película. Van a ver una película. They are going to watch a movie. They're watching a movie in the future. Ver. This is a great topic to practice verbs and vocabulary since you don't need to conjugate a lot of verbs. Ir, to go. Hacer una fiesta, to throw a party or to have a party. Descansar, to rest. Estudiar, study. Viajar, to travel. Ver, to watch. Now, how can we use this construction with the verbs like gustar? Remember that there are different groups of verbs, and gustar is one of them. I always tell my students that it is very important to get familiar with the 4 groups of verbs in the simple present, because you're going to find them in every tense as well. Verbs like gustar have their own irregularities. First of all, you need to remember that they have special pronouns. Me, te, le, nos, os. In Spain, les. And then remember that the verbs like gustar are conjugated in the third person singular and the third person plural. Va o van a gustar. So, I'm going to like. Me va a gustar. O me van a gustar. I'm going to love. Singular or plural is going to be me va a encantar. Me van a encantar. Singular and plural. I'm going to love something or doing something. I'm going to like somebody's personality. Me va a caer bien. Or me van a caer bien. I'm going to like a group of people, for example. There are some other verbs like gustar, but I think these 3 verbs are going to be very important. So I recommend practicing and studying the pronouns and the construction, singular and plural. Now, reflexive verbs also have their own set of pronouns. We need to remember that. Me, te, se, nos, os for vosotros in Spain, and se. Remember that reflexive verbs are verbs where the subject and the object are the same thing. We'll practice that in a different video. Here, you just need to conjugate the verb to go as usual. Voy, vas, va, vamos, vais, van. And then the reflexive verb. Something that is tricky about the reflexive verbs is that if there is another verb before the reflexive verb, you can place the pronoun at the beginning, separated from the verb to go or from any verb, or at the end, attached to the main verb. Let's practice. Me voy a poner. I'm going to put on. Or you can also say, voy a ponerme. In my experience, most English speakers prefer to use the pronoun at the beginning. That way, the second word or the verb won't become too long. The next sentence. Te vas a levantar. Or vas a levantarte. You're going to get up. Se va a duchar. Or va a ducharse. He or she is going to take a shower. Nos vamos a levantar. Or vamos a levantarnos. We're going to get up. Os vais a acostar. Or vais a acostaros. You guys in Spain are going to go to bed or are going to bed. Se van a vestir or van a vestirse. They are going to get dressed. Do you think there are irregular verbs in Spanish all the time? Well, good news. There are no irregular verbs in this construction, ir a plus infinitive. So that's great. So you only need to worry about the verbs like gustar and the reflexive verbs. Those pronouns and those constructions are going to be very important. If you're learning any tense in Spanish, you should learn the time expressions related to that tense. These are the time expressions for plans, intentions, and predictions for the future. Hoy, today. Esta tarde, this afternoon. Esta noche, tonight. Mañana, tomorrow. Mañana por la mañana or mañana en la mañana, tomorrow morning. Mañana por la tarde or mañana en la tarde. Tomorrow afternoon. Mañana por la noche or mañana en la noche. Tomorrow night. The word próximo o próxima, which is actually el próximo or la próxima, which is next. An example, la próxima semana, next week. You can also use it for next month, which is el próximo mes, el próximo fin de semana, next weekend. Remember that weekend is not feminine. Semana is feminine, but el fin de semana is masculine. That's why you need to say el próximo fin de semana, next weekend. El próximo año, next year. We just learned how to talk about plans and predictions for the future with the construction ir a plus the infinitive. Now let's practice with some very common examples. ¿Qué vas a hacer esta noche? Voy a ver una película con mis amigos. Voy a leer mi libro por 1 hora. Voy a viajar a Cartagena. Voy a hacer ejercicio en el gimnasio. Voy a trabajar muy duro. Voy a estudiar español. Voy a jugar fútbol. Voy a ir a un concierto. Voy a correr en el parque. ¿Y tú? ¿Qué vas a hacer esta noche? ¿Qué vas a hacer el fin de semana? Cuéntame en los comentarios. What are you doing this weekend?